This is the October 11th, Monday, October 11th Zoning Board of Adjustment, and the time is 1:36 p.m. And I need to call to order and establish that a quorum is present, which it is. We have 7 members here today. First of all, I think we need to formally welcome our new member. I don't believe we did that last time. Dietrich Tillis. Hi, Dietrich.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah. Has everybody, item number 2, have reviewed and taken, do we need to take any action on the minutes from the meeting held on Monday, September the 13th of 2021? If we don't have any changes, I need a motion. I need a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 7-0 on the minutes. Item number 3. ZBA 21-23, 100 and 108 East Avenue K, single member district number 3, Tommy Hebert. A request for approval of a variance from section 509.b, the zoning ordinance, to allow both an 8-foot and 6-foot fence height in lieu of the maximum 4 feet in general heavy commercial CGCH zoning district located at 108 East Avenue K. Legal description being Block 99 subdivision, Fort Concho addition, west 26 feet of Lot 11 and all of Lot 12, Lot 10, and east 24 feet of Lot 11, Block 99 subdivision, Fort Concho addition.
Yes, sir. So this is ZBA 2123, 100 and 108 East Avenue K.
Got to state your name.
Oh. That would help, right? This is Kyle Warren from San Angelo's Planning Department.
Hello, Kyle.
Hi. Okay, ZBA 2123. This is a location map. It's at the intersection of Avenue K and Oaks, the northeast corner of that intersection. They're requesting a fence height variance, and like Gary said, it's currently zoned CGCH, general/heavy commercial, and it's in the Fort Concho neighborhood. This was the applicant's map. They're rendering of what they wanted to do. Basically 6 feet at the north, east, and west sides, and a small section of 8 feet that's at the south side that connects both the fronting buildings there. They already have a makeshift 8-foot fence, but this was what their idea of what they wanted to do. And these are images of the property. As you can see, outside of that south side, there's no fence around it, and it is just an old junkyard, basically, for cars, repair shop sort of thing. And we put 22 notices out, none in support, none in opposition for this particular case. The analysis is special circumstance. The property in question is an old vehicle repair lot and is the only property with such a use in the immediate area. The benefit of screening this lot outweighs the need to strictly enforce the front yard fence height requirement. Not result of the applicant. The current owner already has a makeshift 8-foot fence at the front of the lots. By allowing this variance, the fencing would be upgraded to better quality fencing materials. The remaining sections of 6-foot fence would cover up an unsightly repair yard that has been in operation for years. The unnecessary hardship in keeping the fence at a 4-foot maximum in the front would put the property in question at risk for theft. The 2 buildings that front the lot are built with no setbacks, so keeping the 8-foot fence already in place keeps the continuity of the front face of these 2 lots, which would be the south side in this case. Minimum action needed. The request would clean up the appearance of the property to the public by fencing the old and junk cars on the lot. And no adverse impacts. The surrounding area is also zoned CGCH and would tidy the area up if the fencing were built and brought up to material standards. No immediate negative impacts are foreseen to adjacent properties. And consistent with zoning ordinance, in section 104.2 of the zoning ordinance states that the purpose of the ordinance is to protect the character and establish the pattern of development in each area. And we believe that providing a variance for this fence in this case would be in line with protecting the character of the area, as it would clean it up. And our recommendation is to approve the request for a variance of both an 8-foot and 6-foot fence height in CGCH zoning, subject to the following, I'm sorry, that should be 3 conditions, not 4. Number 1, the applicant shall obtain all required permits, and inspection division. 2, the applicant shall construct all fencing and standard with standard fencing materials as determined by the planning director. And 3, all outdoor storage materials and vehicles shall be contained within the new fencing. Thank you. Are there any questions on that, or?
Any questions? Nope. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How much time do they have to, is there a time limit on when they have to get this done?
We didn't set any time limits, but I know the applicant did come in wanting to know when they could start, so I'd assume,
So if we pass this and they don't do anything, they're not under any obligation to do anything?
Not that I know of.
But they requested this, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, they brought in the application wanting to do this fence, so we assumed it was a
Are they in
given.
violation already with the fence that's there now?
They are, because it does exceed the 4-foot maximum. But we argued that this variance, or them being in violation, is the fact that they've got 2 front buildings with no setbacks in that area, which are grandfathered in already.
Right.
And they did that to keep the continuity of that front face.
All right.
So it's kind of, it's hard to say if it looks horrible or if it's in real bad violation, or if it actually keeps the continuity of the area. And we decided if they go and put this new fence in and bring it up to better standards and just sheet metal in front of it, it would tidy the place up, and keeping it at 8 foot, it would keep the continuity of the front face of this repair shop.
Was there a violation issued from code enforcement or anything to trigger this?
Not that I know of.
I don't see what compels them to do anything if we pass it. But anyway, that's just my thoughts.
Okay.
Y'all, I just wanted to jump in. Kyle's correct. This is for security reasons, and so the CGCH zoning only allows a maximum of 4 feet in the front yard.
Right.
But because they're not really a retail business, they're more of a heavy commercial. Just due to security reasons, they want a taller fence, and I understand it's a combination. Some areas it's 6 feet, and then I think along the front it's 8 feet.
It's just that small part in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go back and show you.
Well, it is. And there's nothing being compelled.
What does the green line, what is that?
We passed this,
The
there's
green,
nothing
is that
compelling.
their property line or is that something else?
Yes, sir, that's their property line. I don't know what the orange is, but I know their property lines extend down to the border of that orange, and the rest is just along the plats that's already there, the platted lot lines. Yes, sir. Sorry if that's hard to read. This is, like I said, this is customer generated, so.
That's the way I was after watching the Longhorns Saturday.
I thought we sucked. I agreed to stop talking.
He's the only one feeling good today.
So I think the 8-foot fence along the south was already there. They're just replacing it. And then the 6-foot fence would be all the way around. And then that kind of triangle at the southwest corner between the 2 buildings to close the gap between the 2 buildings.
Is there any condition, or did they ask for any kind of material other than, right now it's that metal-looking stuff?
Right.
Is there going to be something that's a little, that we know what kind of fencing it's going to be?
To get, basically to have them build this fence, it's gonna have to go through John first, and he's going to say, here's what you need to, build with. And he told me that directly. I'm gonna put that in my report and on one of the conditions here. Because I was actually kind of confused too, since these people are not in a historic area or in the river corridor. There's nothing that, explicitly states they have to build a certain way. But John said, if we're going to give them this variance, I get to say what the final look of this will be.
John is the engineer?
He is the planning director for St.
Planning
Angelo.
director.
Yes, sir.
So you don't think that's a good idea to give them like a year to get it done, or 6 months, or just leave it open-ended?
I mean, we can make another condition to say this must be done, within a month.
I would say if that's a condition the board is comfortable with implementing on this, that's certainly something y'all could do.
Okay.
And in terms of the current zoning ordinance, they do, if they require a building permit, they have 12 months. We've kind of made an interpretation that building permit includes fencing anyway. So I think it's already in the zoning ordinance. They'd have to do it within 12. And now, if you wanted it sooner, you'd have to make that a condition.
I'm okay with a year myself.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Are the applicants here?
No, sir.
Any more questions for Kyle? No public comment? Board comments? Ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve as requested and highly encourage the 1-year notification so that they know they have 12 months on the permit process. I don't think we should make it a mandate, but I think we should put it in bold letters that this permit is good for 12 months. Otherwise, I make a motion to approve.
And Mr. Barnett, we do that in our standard approval letter language. Towards the bottom of the letter, we'll have that stipulation in there.
So you don't want it a mandate?
Not since they said it's already part of the permit.
And I apologize, I am new, so I didn't know that.
I don't know if adding an additional mandate would.
Well, they'd have to go get the permit first, create a permit. Have they already gotten the permit?
That was part of the conditions that they were going to put
Right.
in the process.
Right, it had to go through this board first for them to...
They're the one that asked for it, so I don't think there's going to be any reason for them to hold up. I don't think so. Otherwise, they could have just left it like that forever, They're motivated.
We got a motion on the table. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Go for the vote. Am I supposed to do something else for the vote?
You should ask for any other questions
Okay. Any other comments
on the motion.
on the motion? She takes care of me. What time's supper, Mom? All right, the motion's on the table. We have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Passes 7-0. I gotta put that on my cheat sheet. All right.
Thank you, Kyle.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. Check.
Next item, excuse me, folks. Next item, number 4, ZBA 21-26, 419 Howard Street, single member district number 4, Lucy Gonzalez. A request for approval of a variance from section 501.A of the zoning ordinance to allow for a lot width of 42 feet in lieu of the required 50 feet in the single-family residential RS1 zoning district, being 0.303 acres, located southwest of Houston Hart Expressway and Howard Street. Legal description being lot number 2 and 3, lot 2 and 3 subdivision is Sunset Terrace Addition. Hello, Jeff.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Chair Cortese and zoning board members. Jeff Fisher, Chief Planner. So our second case today is 419 Howard Street, ZBA 2126. So what the applicant wants to do is replat subdivision of 2 lots, and one of the lots that had an encroachment. It had a house that encroached a little bit over that property line. I'm going to skip ahead to the drawing. It makes it a little bit easier here. Okay, so if you see that dotted line at the bottom of lot 2, that's actually where the real line is right now. So even though the lots are exactly 50 feet wide as required, call that the lot width, that house stuck over that dotted line, which is the real line right now, about 2 or 3 feet. So what this is going to do is it's going to make a wider lot 2 and a little bit skinnier lot 3. And so the variance is required from the ZBA to do that. It's 42.35 feet. We don't usually do decimals, so we're just going to give them a little bit more at 42. And so that's what you're looking at today. The lot area is in compliance with the zoning ordinance. It's more than 5,000 square feet. The lot depth are 132 feet. They only need 100 in the RS1, so they comply with everything else except for the lot width. So that's all this is today. And if you all approve this, their subdivision replat showing the skinnier lot 3 can go forward on October 18th to the Planning Commission. I'll just go back now to the beginning. So this is the house you can see to the right in that first picture, and then there's the vacant area. That's where they want to build a new home, single-family home in the future. This is looking north on Howard Street and then south on Howard Street. So it's a pretty busy area, but it is residential, and so council's and that Resintel study that was done a few years ago has been moving in the direction towards more affordable housing, more multifamily, and in that specific, that middle range, like 2, 3, and 4, but also single-family infill. So we believe that this follows those policies, and we're going to be bringing that plat forward next week. There were 2 opposition letters I passed out from 18 and from number 15 in that 200-foot area. 15 was just, I guess they said they didn't want a new house facing their backyard. Of course, it's actually up the street. So I think that complaint's probably not applicable here. 18, they were just concerned about the narrower lot, and they thought if they put a house, a really skinny house, and then they put a parking area right next door to it, it's going to create problems, or that, you know, it's going to be really close to their property. I know we've approved variances in the 44 to 50 foot range. This is a little bit skinnier, but they're confident they can match that. And again, if you were zoned RM1 or RS2, some of those other, RS3, some of those areas allowed narrower homes. So if they don't do that, they won't be able to sell because of the encroachment. So it fixes the encroachment and allows another home. So we're in support of that. So when you look at this in terms of supporting the variance or not, there's got to be a special circumstance, public interest, or literal enforcement. The state has added some more information to the special circumstance section. I don't want to get too much into this, but I think it's important you know, because you're probably going to be using this criteria as well when you review variances. And this is brand new. I think it was a Senate bill was just passed last month. So right now, a special circumstance is only the size, shape, area, and topography of the lot. So if it's got like some really big ditch in it or a weird grade or something, that might be a argument for a variance. But there really wasn't anything else you could use to support a variance under that criteria. Now, if the financial cost is greater than 50% of the appraised value, or if it would make the structure non-compliant with the zoning ordinance, and a couple other things. The third one is the one that applies here. It would result in an unreasonable encroachment on adjacent property. Now, that doesn't mean that just because there's an encroachment, every time we're going to support a variance, but we believe in this case it fixes the problem. Now, if the encroachment went in and only left a 30-foot wide lot, and the RS1 is 50 feet, we'd probably say no, but we think 42 is close enough. So based on this criteria, we're in support. And then, of course, the 6 criteria as outlined in the zoning ordinance, and again, we believe it meets all of those. The lots were platted in 1926 before zoning, so that's one of the reasons the encroachment was probably there prior to the zoning ordinance, and so there wouldn't be any city staff back then that would have been able to catch that. Staff recommends approval of a variance from 501A of the zoning ordinance to allow lot width of 42 feet instead of the required 50 feet in the RS1 zone. Subject to 2 conditions, the applicant shall obtain all required permits from permits and inspections, and the applicant shall submit and obtain approval of a subdivision replat within the new configurations within 12 months. And as I said, that's going October 18th. And usually if they meet all the conditions, and I don't think there were too many with this one, that they could probably turn that around in a month. So that should meet those conditions. So this concludes staff's presentation. Any questions or comments?
Any questions for Jeff?
Jeff, did you talk to any of the people that sent in the responses, especially the one that says the smell? Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
No, I think it's small.
I think he meant small and he
Small.
misspelled it
Yeah.
because it didn't make sense.
That's what it was confused.
Yeah.
He just doesn't write well. It says that smell lot, it'd be small lot.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, if you do look at those plans with a 42-foot lot and they have a 25-foot setback, similar to the existing home, which is about 26 feet back, I don't know because I haven't seen the plans, but there should be enough room still. As you can see, if the house was almost as big as that house, they would probably put their parking in the front and not to the side. Because if the narrower lot, you're going to need that room for the home and still have a big enough backyard. So it's probably not going to be an issue, but nevertheless, he's within his right. Obviously, he lives next door.
He's gonna have to go to the planning when he puts a plan together for this particular new property?
Yes, and they have. That's going next Monday.
Okay, so that would answer some of those questions perhaps?
Yeah, the thing with the plat, oh, I should have said that. Yes, with the residential replat, they were notified within 200 feet. We generally don't, unless he responded to that notice letter and he only responded to the ZBA, we generally don't take any action. And I think if he wanted to, he could come on the letter. It's got the meeting and date and information, so he didn't come last week, so.
Well, it's a pretty skinny little street in that little bit of section. And every once in a while, some of the residents or company or whatever park on that little bit of Howard Street, and you've got the light there for the loop, and it makes it really a skinny, difficult little thing if this new property doesn't have parking on that lot somewhere. And I understand what he's saying, the gentleman who wrote the note.
Absolutely. And I think if that depth wasn't so long, like if it was only 100 feet and maybe that 42 was only 35, we would probably say no. But I think there's enough
Because of
room.
the length.
Uh-huh.
I know you may not know, but what they're planning on building is probably similar to the one that's there on the other lot.
I would think so.
I mean, there's not a lot of room to build
Much bigger.
much bigger of a house.
No.
The engineer, the applicant apologizes. She couldn't make it today. She double booked, so, but she said that hopefully I'll support the request.
Any more questions for Jim? So we don't have anyone here for public comment?
No.
Board comments? I'm going to ask for the motion then, no board comments.
I'll make a motion that we approve as stated or written.
Second,
I'll second that motion.
any comment on the motion? All right, go and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Passes 7-0. Thanks, Jeff. Item number 5, division report.
We have nothing to report this time.
All right.
And thank you all for reconvening for this special called meeting. We certainly appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.
I'd like to make just a couple announcements of some new members I meant to say last week, and then the power went out. Dietrich Tillis is our new board member, and one of our alternates is here today. You'll see hopefully in the next few months, Julie Efferson. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, the last name?
Jefferson.
Jefferson. It's like Jefferson with no J.
Julie? Welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
Are you in any relationship to Efren?
I don't think so.
You sat in the back there so you could escape in case you didn't like it. By the door.
I
don't blame
warned
you.
her early.
All right, is that it? Next meeting looks like it's gonna be Monday, November the 1st, and 1:30 in this fine room right here, if the air conditioner's working, power's working. All right, motion to adjourn?
Thank you all.
Bye, y'all.